This is Telling Time Review Part 2. In the previous video, we reviewed AM and PM hours. We reviewed the hour hand and the minute hand. We talked about counting around the clock by fives when telling time on an analog clock. We talked about AM and PM hours. Also, we reviewed telling time to the hour, half hour, and 15-minute intervals. And we also talked about how we say the time, how we say the time on analog clocks like 12:30, 12:30, or 30 minutes past 12. We talked about the different ways that we say the time. We're going to do a little review. Looking at the clock, the time is 1 o'clock. Anytime the minute hand is on the 12, we say o'clock. I'm going to move the minute hand to the 2. Remember, it's still after 1. What time is it? Count by fives around the clock where you see the minute hand, which is the blue hand, the long hand. Remember, we talked about the long hand was the minute hand. On my demonstration clock, it actually has the numbers around it where we count by 5, so it helps you. So the time is 1:10, or 10 minutes after 1. Notice up here, 5:10. 1:10, or 10 minutes after 1. Now look at the clock. I've moved the minute hand. What time does the clock say? The time is 1:30, or 1:30. We could also say 30 minutes after 1. I'm going to move the minute hand once again. Look at the time. What time does the clock say? The time is 1:45. If you can't see the 45 right here beside the 9, all you have to do is count around the clock. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. And you can see that it's 1:45. In 15 minutes, it will be 2 o'clock. So it's almost 2 o'clock. Look, 5, 10, 15. In 15 minutes, it will be 2 o'clock. Notice as the minute hand moves around the clock, after 1, here's 1 o'clock. Here's 10 after. Notice how the hour hand is moving closer to the 2. Look, 1:15. Watch that hour hand. Watch the red hand. 1:20. Look when I put it on 1:30. Now, a minute ago we were at 1:45, which was 15 minutes until 2. Notice where the hour hand is. It's showing us that it's almost 2 o'clock. Now, 2 o'clock. The hour hand is directly on the 2, and the minute hand is directly on the 12. The time is 2 o'clock. Okay, I have some flashcards we're going to practice some telling time with, analog clocks. The first one, I hope you can see this clearly. I'm going to do a couple of them first. The time on this card is 9:05, and another way to say this is 5 minutes after 9. The time is 9:05, or 5 minutes after 9. Now I want you to try one. The time is 5:05, 5 minutes after 5. Look at this clock. The time is 12:15. It's 15 minutes after 12, or you could say 12:15. Now I want you to try one. What is the time on this analog clock? The time is 9:15, or 15 minutes after 9. You could say it's 9:15. The time is 4:10. It's 10 minutes after 4, 4:10. Now you try this one. The time is 9:10 or 10 minutes after 9. The time is 7:15 or 15 minutes after 7. We could say it's 7:15. Now you try this one. What time does it say on this analog clock? The time is 2:15 or 15 minutes after 2. You could also say 2:15. Okay, let's try some different ones. The time on this clock is 7:35. 7:35. You could count by fives around, starting at there where the 1 is, all the way around to the 7. And when you count by fives, when you get to the 7, you will count to 35 when you're counting by fives. So the time is 7:35. Now you try this one. The time is 8:50. In 10 minutes, it will be 9 o'clock. The time is 8:50. Look at this analog clock. The time is 10:20 or 20 minutes after 10. 10:20. Now you try this one. The time is 8:55. In 5 minutes, it will be 9 o'clock. 8:55. Now I'm going to hold up a few of these analog clock flashcards for you to do at home. What time does the analog clock show? What time does this analog clock show? What time is it? This one's a little tricky. It's 1:05 or 5 minutes after 1. The hour hand and the minute hand both point to the 1, so be careful with that one. Make sure that you look at the long hand, which is the minute hand, and count by fives, and you will see it's 1:05. And this is the way that you write the time, 1:05, 5 minutes after 1. The last one for today, tell the time on the analog clock. Good job, boys and girls. And remember, this is a review of telling time. It's not a new concept or a new skill. It's just a review. Something extra for you to refresh on at home.